Hey people, welcome to the channel, and we're gonna check out Squadron 42, the trailer. I held the line. Squadron 42 is, as of right now, feature complete. This means that the game is complete. It's done, but not really done. There's polishing, there's bugs, there's a bunch of things that may take, in fact, years to come. This does not mean that we're getting Squadron 42 anytime soon. Now, I've always been fairly critical, to say the least, of CIG in general. I will, though, admit when things are being done right. This is a huge leap into releasing Squadron 42. This means that, again, it's not going to be this year, it's not going to be in the next 12 months. If it had been the case, we would have heard that. They would have said that in less than a year, in Q3 or Q4 next year, you would have it. If it had been the case, they would have said that. And as always, this is CIG. This has been going on for years. They show us something, and 5 years later, we're still looking around wondering where things have gone. Now, I will say, this is looking pretty damn fantastic. We see the Hornets here. Let's check it out and comment as we go. So Squadron 42 is mostly about of course, as you probably know, Squadron 42 is a single player game. It's going to be going into console as well. And you see the Hammerheads, you see the Hornet. It is the single player experience of basically being a soldier, about being, well, becoming a Star Citizen, meaning, like in the old Starship Troopers and that sort of thing, you need to serve before you become a citizen, that kind of thing, which is pretty nice. I like that whole vibe. And we see a bunch of ships that we've seen, of course, in Star Citizen, and we fly already. This is a lot better from the previous trailers. It is obviously very combat focused, ship combat focused, which is the way it should be. This has always been their bread and butter. We have our main character there, which is of course customizable. This dude, your main character, will be whatever the hell you want him to be, and that is appreciated. I'm fed up with all of this bullshit of being forced into being a woman when you don't want to play one in a video game. Right, the nice thing is you can play as whatever the hell you want with a very robust character creation mechanism. You have a strong character creation tool, which has been shown in this weekend's event, and there it is. You can pretty much make any kind of character you want. Now, this is the main storyline. It is quite cinematically, right? Doesn't seem to have a whole lot of gameplay, and these cutscenes though show how it has been evolving graphically. We have Gillian Anderson. The cast of actors is it's amazing. You have Gary Oldman, Gillian Anderson. You have some of the, you have damn Luke Skywalker in here. So it is pretty amazing, and we have to say it has been progressing over the years in the graphic quality. It looks very fine. It's been hours that they spent talking about how they develop the hair, the skin, the lighting. It's just very nicely done in terms of the graphics that you have here. Music also great. And Chris Roberts seemed quite happy with himself as well in terms of what he's been showing. Again, I have to insist, keep your expectations checked. This has been the case before. We've been here before of another couple more years. This is constant. This is what basically defines Chris Roberts and CIG. It's going to be 1 more year, 2 more years, 3 more years, and 5 years go by, and still, when it's done, stop bothering, stop with the noise. It seems to be that this case, they do have something closer to a feature complete. Now, I'm literally reading out of the description of this video from Star Citizen. It says, "We are excited to announce that Squadron 42 is now feature complete." Is that true? May well be. Does it mean that we're going to be seeing this in 12 months, in 24 months? I don't know. Based on previous experiences, it's usually a case that, yeah, they announce things and it's going to be, yeah, more than a year or two before we actually see it. And if we're talking about space games, you have the case of Starfield, which is Bethesda. Those guys spend another full year polishing after their expected release date. So don't be surprised if it's another 2 or 3 years before you see Squadron 42 actually released. I don't want anyone here watching this channel to fall for the hype, to have false expectations. This is good. This is good stuff. We're happy. If you're the kind of people that, like me, that wants this to be actually done and something to play and enjoy, this is good news. But keep your expectations realistic. We have this cutscene here from is this actual gameplay? It seems to be gameplay. So, managing your little ship boat thing here. The water seems a little bit different from what they've shown that they've been working on in terms of the water physics. We have the Cuddy Black flying over there. I mean, they have so many great tools to make a fantastic single-player game that it will eventually launch. We will eventually see. But when will that be? God knows. I don't think that they even know. You see the Gladius, all things to keep in mind if you are playing Star Citizen. And by the way, if you're thinking of playing Star Citizen, this is actually a great moment because they're doing this promo now because of the CitizenCon thing. So go to their website, use my referral code that you have there below, and use it when logging in so as to get a free ship, the Hoover Quad, and get yourself the Drake Cutter for $45 and you'll get to try it out. The multi-tool seems to be different, seems to be like a more complete, and they worked a lot on these like puzzles that you just move stuff around so as to jump onto. That's smart, that's clever, that's gonna be gameplay, and they've been talking about including this also in Star Citizen, so these are all good things. Eventually, some of these things...
The military multi-tool is an essential piece of equipment for every pilot that integrates all attachments into a single handheld device.
Yeah, that's cool.
And allows us to create really interesting challenges, including physics-based puzzles using our updated rope tech.
So the military multi-tool is what really the multi-tool should be. Instead of having a bunch of different bullshit heads, it should be one multi-tool that does everything. Obviously, as he's just said, in the game, in Squadron 42, you have the military multi-tool, which does everything, which is awesome.
Our scanning, targeting, and marker system has also seen an overhaul, allowing us to highlight only the essential information that you need, such as key objectives, mission targets, and high-level scan information, while keeping your overall view as clean as possible.
The Gladius is the hero ship, so if you have a Gladius, just keep it. It's probably the most stable, most cared after ship in Star Citizen. Gladius, one of the fighters that a lot of people don't care much about, but it's a pretty nice ship. It's enjoyable, lots of combat. You see lots of this user interface now that is being slowly integrated into Star Citizen. The FPS is better, physical destruction is nice. When will we see this in Star Citizen? Probably another 12 to 24 months.
Hundreds of combinations of traits that allow us to create unique and challenging combat encounters that really push your tactical awareness and skill.
Now, I will say one thing, it seems to be very combat focused, either ship combat or FPS combat. It seems to be that's what they've decided to cut the line there. It is the Star Citizen Squadron 42 experience, your experience in the space military or whatnot, and you don't see here a whole lot of going into cities, going into towns, having more of that role play things, more of an action combat game, which is fine. I think that eventually you have to cut the corners and say, you know what, this is what we're gonna do, this is what we're gonna stick into for this single player game. And it's okay. I'm really not all that interested in Squadron 42. I'm more of a open world Star Citizen kind of thing, but I will say that this is looking quite well, and it is refreshing to see that there is a level of progression. So you see
the builds regularly and call out action points in each level from start to
Right, so you cut open the hull, you move it. It would be nice to have this in Star Citizen as it is now, right? Instead of having the bullshit multi-tool that we have now.
This is an incredibly rewarding stage of development for me and the team, as the ultimate vision of the game is realized, allowing us to craft an experience that we can be really proud of.
Zero G floating.
One specific area that I'm excited to dive in is the feeling of the player interacting with the world around them,
Patching you in.
as it's a core component of Squadron and really grounds the world that you inhabit.
And again, we've been seeing all weekend all of these things that they've been obviously working specifically for Squadron 42 that will eventually make its way to Star Citizen. The hands being seen, moving around, moving levels and wheels and touching of the buttons and all of that stuff. I mean, yeah, this is good news. This is definitely good news, and I'm happy that we have this. How fast will this be delivered to Star Citizen, to the PU? Well, not fast at all. It's never been the case, guys. We have to be honest about that. If there's one thing, Gary Oldman, such a good actor, this dude.
Nice speech.
What a cast.
Not yet.
So I think it will do well. I think that the game will do well once it releases, because it's been going on for so long, and they're benefiting from all of this time in which people have been playing, have been testing rather than playing, I should say, especially in terms of ship combat. The star of all of this thing is the ships and the ship combat. That's always been the strongest side, and everything else is obviously very weak in terms of, well, what we've been talking about here all day. I mean, what we talk about always regarding the shortcomings of Star Citizen, but the ships, the physics, and the combat, it is par to none. It is exceptional, and you won't find that same experience pretty much in any game. I mean, I'm playing now Starfield most of the time. That is the thing I'm enjoying the most, but you cannot argue that the physics and the ship combat is nothing like this. Of course, it is a fully developed game. You have role elements, and you have some of these things that we've been seeing presented this weekend, such as base building, all of those modules that's straight out of Starfield, it would seem, and that's okay. Borrow from what works, take from what's being successfully done and apply it yourself.
We also have you covered in everyday life. The medical staff work diligently for their patients, whether they're players or crew.
There we are in the Gladius again.
Are in that world with you.
This is older. This cutscene here, this has been around for years. The one where they're in the armory and he gets like his guns and so on. So this is all part of the single player campaign Squadron 42. Now, why is it that people are excited? Well, some people are excited because they want to see Squadron 42, but let's be completely honest, a lot of people are super excited because there is this thing, there's this idea that once Squadron 42 releases, they will have the time to work on Star Citizen, on what probably most of us are more interested on. All right, will that be the case? Again, lots of these things have been presented as things that will be implemented into Star Citizen within the next 12 months. That, to me, means in the next 24 or 36, 2 or 3 more years. It's never been the case that they delivered anything when they said it was their target date of release. It's never been the case. So we'll see what happens. Pyro is supposed to be just around the corner. Hopefully that's the case. But if not, that's okay. Just take all of this, and it does look pretty damn nice. I will say that. I'll say that right away. Guys, that's basically what we have as of right now in terms of Squadron 42. It is a feature complete game. It needs to be debugged, polished, fixed, and basically made good, which will be at the very least a couple more years, no doubt whatsoever. If it had only been 12 more months, they would have said so. They would have said, yeah, we have our release date is boom, 1 more year, release date, that's done. That's what you do when you have the game complete for real. Not a problem. That's been the way for over a decade, so it's just nice to see that there is some hope here based on what they've been showing. Guys, see you on the next video. Take care.